Welcome back, fiber friends, to another episode of the Wool to Gold podcast. Today we're going to be doing kind of a funky dyeing experiment. So this is the last of my mohair fleece that I bought at New York Sheep and Wool this past year. It's all the rest of it is washed up. A lot of it has been spun up. However, I am still working on that. It's still being incorporated into some of the yarns that I'm working on now. But this is what's left of the white that I haven't mordanted and I haven't dyed yet. I was looking at all of my like frozen, semi-exhausted dyes that I had saved from last season, and I kind of just made a like rash executive decision to dump them all into one container and hope for the best. This did work out in my favor, surprisingly enough. I don't know, the hand dyeing, the natural dyeing gods must be like looking in my favor, because all of these semi-exhausted dyes resulted in this really beautiful bright orange. I love how vibrant the color looks. At least in the container that it's in, it looks pretty vibrant. A lot of the dyes were mostly like Osage orange, cochineal. I do know that there is a little bit of like Brazil wood in there probably, and madder root as well. I don't know what resulted in this exact shade of orange, but I really like it. I'm quite fond of it. I would like some of these locks to be that shade of orange, so we are going to mordant up some of this mohair. This is actually what we're going to set to the side. I already weighed out about 200 grams of mohair. It's just, this mohair fleece, it just turned out really beautiful. It's so shiny. This mohair fleece has been really fun to work with. It's been really fun to dye. I have been hoarding, I think, all of the locks for myself. I don't think I've listed any of the mohair locks for sale. Except for that one bat that I sold. I did send out some of these mohair locks that I had dyed with logwood out with one of the bats. But I would really like to dye these. I'm sure you can kind of tell because the luster is quite literally blowing out the camera every chance it gets. But these locks are just so shiny and beautiful, and I'm really enjoying spinning them as well. It's a really soft fleece, so it's not kid mohair, right? Because I think kid mohair needs to be a year or younger. And this mohair goat was technically 2 years old, so this was its 4th clip. But this is a really soft mohair fleece. I think I would pick up another mohair fleece, even though I have expressed in other videos that like it is a pain in the butt to wash. It is very similar, at least in my opinion, to washing a fine fleece. A really greasy fine fleece at that. It can just be really stubborn. This is definitely a fiber that, like, if you have the time or the forethought, I would really recommend pre-soaking it, because there's just so much like greasy, grimy oiliness on the fleece, and then there's just also there's so much dirt. Goats are similar to alpacas in that way. They just get into everything, so this fleece definitely reflected that. But now that it's done, now that it's clean, I definitely think it was worth it. I also might end up trying to finish scouring the last of the Corriedale fleece that I have. So I have finally started working through more of that Corriedale cross fleece frost. I worked through a fair amount of it when I first got the fleece, and then I kind of put it on hold for a while. I did forget that there was a whole like I'd say maybe 2-3 pounds of it that still needed to be scoured, and so I've been pre-soaking it this past like day and a half, and so I should probably take it out of the pre-soak and finish washing that as well. So maybe I'll take you guys along for that. I used my scale here to measure out about 20 grams of alum sulfate, and that's what I'm going to use as our mordant today. 20 grams is about 10% of the weight of the fiber that we're going to be mordanting. Also, a quick food safety reminder, always use separate pots for, frankly, I don't really think you should mix like scouring equipment with the same types of things that you use to like cook your food with, but that's a you choice. But you absolutely cannot mix, okay, the things that you use for hand dyeing with what you use to cook your food. You are going to get sick. Even if you're using natural dyes, a lot of natural dyes will make you just as ill as acid dyes will if you like inhale them or ingest them. So do keep that in mind and take similar precautions. So I dissolved our mordant into our water here, and now it is time to add the fiber. Once the fiber is added, we're going to let this very gently simmer for about an hour, maybe a little bit over. We'll take it off heat, and then we're going to let it cool off for as long as possible. So while that fiber is mordanting, I kind of wanted to talk about just my day, how it's going, what my plans were and are for my day. I got up really early this morning. I got up like a little bit before 6 so that I could get to the DMV first thing, because there's a DMV near me where if you show up before 8 a.m. and you don't have an appointment, you would still get your real ID done. And so I spent 4 hours at the DMV doing that this morning. I did not realize it was going to take that long, but I am glad that I got it done. And so I came back home, and now I'm kind of just trying to like get anything that I can get done today. As per usual, the yarn/fiber drop, it has snuck up on me. I have all the fiber that I wanted to list already done, and the photos are already taken of that. I can start uploading those, and maybe I'll start editing that today as well. I still need to finish a few yarns. I need to take a few photos of the yarns that I haven't photographed yet. I also have a longer vlog that I have been slowly editing, but I really need to just like double down and edit it today, and I'm thinking that maybe I can do that at the gym because I really want to get to the gym at some point this week. I know my week this week is just going to be busy because the yarn drop week is always a busy one for me, but I am really excited. We're going to see what we can get done today. Again, the fiber is mordanting. Let's see if we can get a little scouring done. If we can fully scour a little bit more of that Corriedale, I am thinking maybe I might mordant some of it, maybe with the exhaust mordant. I mean, it's already a really dark fiber, so I'm not really sure if using the exhaust on it is like the best idea, but I think that's what I'm gonna do anyway. And then see if it'll take any color. I have a few other containers, like a few containers that I did not dump into like the giant container, the giant vat that we're going to be using for dyeing the locks today. So maybe we can use some of that to try to dye the brown Corriedale fiber. I can bring a little bit of it out to show you what I'm talking about. I'm not really sure if it's going to take any color whatsoever, so it's really going to be an experiment. Okay, so this is Frost, the Corriedale Cross. Some of this fleece is cotted. And a lot of the fleece that is cotted that I processed, I have just kept to spin up for myself because it is slightly flawed. But this is the darkest of the fleece, right? This is the darkest color in the fleece. There is a little bit of, you can see she had some gray patches, which like sometimes gray fiber takes color okay, and sometimes it really doesn't. It depends on whether or not the sheep was originally gray or if the sheep is turning gray from age. Sometimes those fibers will take color differently than a just like naturally gray from birth sheep, if that makes sense. But yeah, the color kind of ranges in between this, and I have some of the lighter fiber outside. That's what still needs to be washed and scoured. And so I'm kind of hoping that maybe it'll take like a little bit of color. That would be really cool. Someone mentioned that this would, if it did take color, it would probably be really moody and dark, obviously. And I just think that would be really pretty and really cool. And I would like to, I don't know, I would like to try experimenting. I haven't been able to get outside to do any dyeing because it's been really cold here up until super recently. I feel like it's finally spring. I've definitely been feeling like I need like a little bit more color in my life. So let's go see if some of these dyeing experiments will work out. Okay, so obviously it needs to be filtered, and I am gonna filter this before I actually use like the dye, but it's a really nice color. Bo is coming over. If you're curious what that noise is, he's coming over to investigate. This part of the fleece is partially processed. As you can see, again, it has some lighter sections there. This is, again, the dye stuff that I want to use to dye the mohair. And then if we come up here, this bad boy has been soaking for a day and a half, so we're going to try to dump it. And you can see just how much dirt is coming off of this, just without any heat applied at all. Bo is making some really helpful contributions, as I'm sure you can hear. Bobo! Bring it over here. Want to show off your toy? Wow. Very cool. Dear God, just look at the color of that water there. All of that grime. This is why, like, I should take my own advice and I should cold soak more, because it really does save you so much work. All right, so I made it to the gym just like I promised I would. I am in the middle of editing the footage, more than in the middle. I'm like 2/3 of the way through editing the footage already, and I'm really hoping to get the rest of it done while I am at the gym. I finished dyeing those mohair locks, which is really great. I did not completely finish mordanting the Corriedale cross fiber, but I finished washing some of it, so that's really rad. But yeah, the locks are cooling off right now while I'm at the gym. So hopefully when we get back, I can take them out of the cooled water. Hopefully at that point it'll be like fully exhausted. I left it with like, I'd say like 20 minutes left on the timer, and the water was like almost completely exhausted. So I'm hoping when I get back, we'll be able to take those out and squish out all the excess water and see how they look. It's the next day, so I wanted to kind of catch you guys up on where I'm at. So I finished this yarn. I had already spun it up, but I really wanted to ply it up. I think it looks really pretty. I really like the color scheme. Another thing I did was pluck apart a bunch of these pink mohair locks that I recently finished dyeing and drying. They came out really beautiful and shiny, and I really like the way. I didn't know if I was going to love this shade of pink, but now that they're kind of fluffed up and pulled apart, and I'm kind of seeing the vision of how like tonal this is gonna spin up, I actually think it's gonna come out really nice. I'm very excited. And that's what's on the DT lens drum now, so that's what I'm currently spinning. And then we need to go check on those locks outside. So I had a dentist appointment this morning, so that went super well. It wasn't like a full appointment. I need a night guard because I apparently have started grinding my teeth in the past like 3 months, to nobody's surprise. So I needed to go get a scan for a night guard. I got that done. I came home, I had lunch. We need to go check on those locks that have cooled off. I did check on them like briefly this morning, and I'll be honest, my first impression is that the locks came out a little bit more yellow than I wanted them to. I'm not really sure if I'm going to leave them this color. In fact, I'm pretty sure I'm not. If it does come out, if they are like as yellow as I think that they are, I think what I'm going to do is maybe over dye them with indigo, possibly, so I can get like a green. I promised a natural dye reveal, and here it is. We can address the elephant in the room. Yes, it did come out yellow, okay? But here's my thing. The longer I look at it, the more I kind of like it. First, I like to challenge myself with colors that kind of scare me, and admittedly, yellow scares me more than any other color. Even purple, which I have like a love-hate relationship with purple. Yellow's just tough for me. Here's the thing though, okay, these are really wet still. Even though I squished the water out of them, they're still really wet. They're looking pretty like golden yellow right now, but I'm hoping when it dries out that it's gonna be more of a like, dare I say, I hate to use this word, but butter yellow. I'm essentially hoping it ends up a slightly lighter yellow, a little bit less golden. I do plan on keeping at least some of them yellow because, again, the color is growing on me. I want to push my color sense. I would like to experiment with them and spin them with a few things that I have in my collection right now. That being said, I might still over dye some of them, so you might still get an indigo video. I'm not really sure yet. I do think this is going to be the end of the vlog, unfortunately. I know I didn't take you guys along on too many adventures, and this maybe wasn't that exciting of a video. But I don't know, I'm trying to diversify my content and kind of put a few different types of things out there. So if I put out some videos that are a little bit surprising or different and you guys like them, don't like them, I don't know, that's why I'm putting them out there. I'm kind of just doing my due diligence as a, I don't know, I don't want to call myself a content creator. I am an artist who is recording my journey, and if people want to see different parts of my journey, then I am happy to share that with people. I did just want to put in a quick thank you, and I'll probably put this thank you in my next few videos if I'm being honest with you, but I wanted to say thank you guys so much for 8,000 followers. 8,000 subscribers here on YouTube. I can't believe that many people follow me here on this platform. That's kind of amazing to me. I was flabbergasted when 1,000 people followed me here on YouTube. I do know that I have like a significant following on some other platforms, but short form media is just so different than long form media, and I've always really liked vloggers. I've always really liked people on YouTube who make like YarnTube the place that it is. I watch a lot of videos about yarn here on YouTube, and it's so cool that I get to contribute to that ecosystem now, and be a part of it, and that is opening some really interesting and new doors for me, so thank you so much. I also know that a lot of you watch my videos but are not subscribed yet, so if you're watching this video now and you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you leave. Thank you so much for all of the likes and the comments. They really help push my video out to people who might not otherwise see it. I really appreciate that my page has really attracted a wide array of different crafters, and it's inspired so many people to get into spinning. That's kind of always been the goal of me putting this content out there and putting myself on social media. Anyway, thank you again, fiber friends, for tuning in for another episode of the Wool to Gold podcast, and I hope I see you on the next one.